Okay, my people, another day don't reach again for another strong mock news. This one is one of the best mock news one I don't ever listen to where I don't do. When I know say for the past how many weeks now, how many months now, I read about one news where I see one audio where one guy they talk about religion as scam, say Christianity as scam. The audio trend for Facebook, even for YouTube, people they write me say, how if you take get this guy, I could go do these things, put EFCC, DSS, move on, help me fetch this guy. They could help me fetch the guy. Come now, I call beg and where we say I beg. I want we talk about this your audio because a lot of people they you understand the verse on the yeah, this guy they talk through. Why so they say like this guy don't know what they talk. So now let me bring the guy come. So the guy will get the audio in the ask with us. And some of them we never understand what they talk. You get one audio where somebody do about religion and scam. And those of them never I want to catch up. I won't play the audio again so that now if you follow those of you never hear the audio before. Oh yeah.
This is what I'm going to read to you guys. Please pardon me. It's a 3 minute read, and I'll take my time to read it to you guys. Moderators, please, am I allowed?
Go ahead. We're listening, but just make it fast.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead.
All right. The title of the article is Do you want to know what a scam is? That is the question. Now, a scam is having the Bible translated into Swahili, Igbo, Yoruba, Zulu, Taswana, Ndebele, and every other African language, but having zero scientific book translated into a single African language. That is a conspiracy. That is a trap, and that is a scam. Someone who can be scammed with the same trick over and over again for decades upon decades is considered a fool, and their gullibility and lack of critical thinking make them willing participants in their own demise. I have walked into different libraries and I have seen university science books translated into Chinese, Russian, Portuguese, French, German, Spanish, and so forth. I have seen Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill translated into French. I have seen the Japanese version of A Man's Search for Meaning. I have seen a Spanish version of The Alchemist. I have seen the Korean version of The Art of War. All these books, I have seen them in various languages, but not in any African language. You will never find a church in Africa where the English-speaking preacher would not have a native translator next to them doing the translation. Here's where the scam comes in. You also will never find a school in Africa where the English-speaking teacher will be having a native translator next to them translating chemistry, physics, mathematics, geography, economics, etc. to the students. I have seen many science books translated into various languages, but none in any African language. The Chinese are taught mathematics in Chinese. The Japanese are taught engineering in Japanese. They are all taught finance, astrophysics, medicine, accounting, geology, management, government, and so on in their languages. The only book that Africans have had in their language is the Bible. And the only time Africans have something translated to them in their language is in a church. Important historical facts. Think seriously about this. The black African, the wretched of the earth, is the only member of the human race who has been brainwashed to think that his ancestors bequeathed him with a curse that has prevented him from attaining aspired goals and life desires. Almost every misfortune he encounters on earth is the fault of some ancestors who must be bound and cast with the fire of the Holy Ghost in Jesus' name. The white people don't have terrible ancestors who have done terrible things. No, it's only the black ancestors. Over the years, the black ancestors have been so vilified by Christians, they pay tithes, stay up all night, fast and pray to destroy the African ancestor in the name of Jesus. The black ancestor is so wicked, he cursed his own kids. Having cursed his ancestors who gave him life, the black man is roaming around the world like a tortoise without a shell. He has no backbone, zero identity, thus no race respects him. He is lynched in Malaysia, incarcerated in Cambodia. He is shot like a dog in the streets of America. In Europe, he cleans the white man's shit and they spit on him. Why won't they? A man who hates himself and despises his roots deserves no respect for whatsoever. John Hawkins was a foremost English slave trader, a thief, and by contemporary moral standard, he can as well be called a terrorist. John Hawkins made 3 trips to West Africa in the 1560s and stole Africans, whom he sold to the Spanish in America. On returning to England after the first trip, his profit was so handsome that Queen Elizabeth I became interested in directly participating in his next venture, and she provided for that purpose a ship named Jesus. Hawkins left with Jesus to steal some more Africans, and he returned to England with such dividends that Queen Elizabeth made him a knight. Hawkins chose as his coat of arms the representation of an African in chains. Please, am I still audible?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
are, you
yeah.
are.
We're listening. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going further. Today, the generations of Hawkins and Queen Elizabeth I are alive and enjoying life from the proceeds of their evil ancestors. They don't demonize their ancestors despite their active involvement in the greatest evil humanity has ever witnessed. Both individuals sanctioned rape, kidnapping, and mass murder, but their children don't bear ancestral curses like black Africans. You'll be hard pressed to see a member of the British elite publicly denounce slavery. If that is wrong, please point that to me. Isn't it time to emancipate yourself from mental slavery, O ye Negro? If ancestral curse exists, who should suffer from it? The ancestor who kidnapped and raped and murdered and pillaged and stole and enslaved his fellow man, or the man whose freedom was taken from him? Surely the man who threw pregnant Negro women to sharks at sea because they were too weak deserves his future generation to suffer, and not the man whose society was so pure they had no prisons to punish offenders. Do these black Africans who will go to church today binding and casting ancestral curses know that almost all the top British politicians from the 17th century to 19th century were proud slave merchants? It is on record that 15 Lord Mayors of London, 25 sheriffs, and 38 aldermen of the City of London were shareholders in the Royal African Company between 1660 and 1690. The RAC alone was responsible for trafficking over 1.5 million Negroes to Britain and twice that number to the Caribbean. David and Alexander Barclays were active participants in the kidnapping and enslavement of millions of black Africans, as was standard practice at that time. The risky and long-term nature of transatlantic slave trading required new banking houses that could offer credits to prospective slave traders for periods of between 1.5 to 3 years. One bank that provided this service was run by Alexander and David Barclay. Their bank still carries their name, the Barclays Bank. Is also a proud sponsor of the English Premier League that me and you are fanatical fans of. Their children don't bind and cast their ancestral evil. Rather, it is the Negro whose ancestors were dehumanized and tortured and enslaved that keeps praying against ancestral curses. The Bank of England was also involved in the slave trade. Sir Richard Naves, who was the director of bank for 48 years, was also the chairman of the Society of West Indian Merchants, a group of vile men who stole Africans and made handsome profits by selling them on to farmers who needed them to work on their sugar and tobacco plantations in the West Indies. Today, Liverpool Football Club will be playing Tottenham Hotspur in the Barclays Premier League. Pay attention. How many of you who are Liverpool supporters today know that the initial founders of that football club were retired slave traders, whom in 1892, with slavery outlawed, decided to invest their money in football club that will reap future rewards for their generations to come via a bank called Otto Haywood and Sons and Co. The bank will be absorbed in turn by the Bank of Liverpool, Martins Bank, and then Barclays Bank. You watch them and shout in ecstasy when they score, but a pastor somewhere will tell you the reasons you are poor is because your ancestors committed evil. Hence, the reason you experience ill luck, and you will believe and start casting and binding rubbish. For your information, Liverpool was the major port for the transatlantic slave trade. Slave ships were often built or repaired in Liverpool. Nearly 1.5 million Africans were forcibly transported across the Atlantic in Liverpool ships. The Liverpool Merchant was the first recorded slave ship to sail from Liverpool. She set sail on 3rd October 1699 and arrived in Barbados on 18 September 1700 with a cargo of 220 enslaved Africans. Part owner Sir Thomas Johnson is known as the founder of modern Liverpool. Liverpool City wouldn't be what it is today without the trade in black Africans. The personal and civic wealth gained from slaving cemented the foundations for the Liverpool's future growth. The children and the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the perpetrators of this monstrosity against the black man enjoy heaven here on earth and live in more stable environment. They have managed to stabilize their society and solve their problem and live in a relative peace. But the Negro ancestors, the wretched of the earth, who was kidnapped and his freedom forcibly taken away from him, he was sentenced to a plantation for the rest of his life. It is these ancestors and many others who are demonized by Christians as having bequeathed their offerings with curses. Our ancestors are good men and women. This is my article. I hope it is food for thought for many of you who like to always say and try to always cherry pick and say Christianity has brought enlightenment. The white man has brought civilization. Newsflash again, my brother, my sisters, before the white men ever knew what they call binary numbers, my father, my ancestors, example, Orunmila was already writing in zeros and one before Aristotle or Plato was born. Thank you.
let
Thank
me
you, thank
Hey,
you, thank you.
Jehovah Jireh.
let me
That
rebuttal real
was
quick.
deep. Thank you.
Woman, so the very guy will do this audio, it dey here, but he say he never want to show his face. They ask with us, so we ask a lot of questions why I do this audio. But before I go start, massive mention my name, come let's not forget myself. My name is Remember Pararan one of Africa. I know I don't need to say Pararan, you two they talk. let's go. Okay, we'll go straight to the reason why we are here. So my brother, how you dey? You dey the ask?
I dey
Hello.
with you, my brother. I dey with you,
Uh-huh.
Pararan. I dey with you.
Okay, before we go start, I beg, help me greet my mock news people. Help me greet them.
Okay. Thank you so much for bringing me in. On top social media, now I keep conjuring everybody know me. I dey always dey on
Yeah.
top Clubhouse. I dey on Twitter, where I dey always do my thing, talk my mind. And one of those days, na here I come talk this audio where you play now. And I really appreciate
Yeah.
say you bring me come in. You understand? Because I didn't expect say my audio go viral like that. But because of you, it went viral because I just dey talk my mind that day for one room for Clubhouse where people they talk. You know, people they tell me say in that room say, and now because say we no believe in Jesus and all those, and now why we they suffer for Africa. So my audio where they cut where you listen to now because say I they counter them for that room say now rubbish that they talk about. So I really appreciate everything that has happened, that has come to this stage where make me and you feel me today they talk to you. So I appreciate you for bringing me in, and I greet everybody where they listen right now. Maybe waiting with the talk
Okay.
today, bless their soul one way or the other. Thank you.
You too much. Now me and people say you feel even grant me this interview. So more go straight to business because some people now they will just shout my data para you do they talk. On a keep para you do they talk on okay fire for fire. According to your audio, I listened to one place where you just say religion has scam. So the thing talk why you say religion has scam, we like know because a lot of people see they listening to me and you now go like really know why you say religion I scam talize ego.
Okay. Make we do am like this quickly so that you no go fit too take. We just analyze
Yes.
something simple. So now I can always tell people say first make we understand something. As we dey speak pidgin now, we dey speak that pidgin because we take am out of the English wey we dey force on top us, which na the
Yes.
language where most of us dey speak for Africa. Now, if you look am, there's an etymology for every word, and that etymology means say the source of that word and the breakdown of each of those words, where they come from. Wetin be religion? First and foremost, na Latin origination, where it means religare or something like that. I know they pronounce am well. I know be Latin anyway, but
Okay.
separately, ligare separate, which means to bind again. Bind you to what? If you look at it, it's a forceful terminology. To bind again. To what? So now, the question is now, why then, from then till the English meaning, where they will now say that religion is a worship of a supernatural being or whatever they created to call religion in the modern era of English language. But now, me as an African, Abi, let me put it this way so that it speaks to the essence. Abi Yoruba boy, you understand? So
Okay.
now Lodumare, I understand. And I understand Orisha, understand what they call Irumole and all those things. And these things, Irumole no be angel, Orisha no be God or deity or whatever. But because they try similarize words with each other, You now say that we as Africans say we get religion. So now the question be say, shall we they do the same thing where then they do? No, we know they do them. We no get religious institutions before they come. We no get religious identity or whatever before they come. All we practice now spirituality, connection with nature. Even though we understand, say, we get one source of energy, which some of us call Olodumare, Igbos we call am Chi, another ethnicity for Africa, we call another name. You understand? But we never had that religious institution that says if you do this, you will go to heaven. If you don't do this, you will go to hell. So these are the problems where you will now look at religion is a scam, which is the reason why I tell people that quickly, let me say this. Religion is made up of what I call the 3 C's. It is made of code of conduct, creed of oath and allegiance, and cult of practitioners. And you yourself, my brother Pararan, you know what I mean by cult of practitioners. How out of these pastors where you see, we know they do the same thing. If one fuck up, one go defend them, and they go use that same Bible defend them, even on top the crimes that they commit against humanity on the people of Africa and the people of their country or congregation. That these are the many, and this dogma of making people not think of themselves and not be able to ask questions and just follow through with whatever they say. That itself is a scam because they have taken what we have away from us and giving us what is leading us into perpetual enslavement forever and ever. That is what is given to us, and that is one of the reasons, in fact, one, not everything, of the reasons why it is a scam. Taking away the actual essence of who we are and giving us and rebutting us into a foreign ideology, foreign philosophy and thinking. These are the many reasons, and some of them are reasons why I said religion was a scam.
Wow. Now they won't understand the reason why you say religion are really scam now. So I want to ask you another question again because people they jot their question come say make I re-ask you because a lot of people like this your audio way. So now, so you think say religion ain't be our problem?
Well, religion is our problem. Yes, I would say yes, but not in its entirety the only thing. But if I want to say in a majority, religion is our problem. Why is it our problem? Is that, like I said earlier, a lot of things has been sold to us that is not ourselves. So, which is the reason why I am asking this question. If you are close to a Bible now, my brother, we will use this to actually analyze once we just answer that question that it is a problem. And within the religious context, people celebrate, how would I say, they celebrate suffering in the hope of a Messiah that is being sold to them. Now, if you go to the book of Leviticus 25, probably you start from 39 to 46 or even to 57. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
That particular passage, that particular book, passage in the Bible is talking about chattel slavery. What rights an Israelite has to buy a slave? What rights where they can buy them from? In fact, the book says they can buy slaves not within themselves, but buy it from outside. Somebody that is an ethnicity, people that is not part of them, and they can keep them as property. That is what the Bible said in that book. My brother, that thing I just said to you right now, is it not the same as what has happened to us as black people or anybody who has been taken as slave? In fact, let me just do this so that I can read it verbatim for you. In fact, from let me see, it says, oh sorry, I'm trying to see if I could get the text for you. Okay, now see something. This is what it says quickly.
From Leviticus.
Leviticus 25, 46, 44 to 46. Let me quickly read this part for you. As for male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing within you and from their families that they are with you. You have been born in your land and they may be your property. You may keep them as possession for your children and after you, for them to inherit as property. This you may treat as slaves. This is what the Bible says. So
Yeah,
tell
because I
me.
want make we dey talk and so that people would hear, they would read them by themselves there. I'll put up for screen. They go yeah.
Very good. Thank you, my brother. Because this itself promotes chattel slavery. Exactly the suffering of my forefathers till today. The same engineering that is in our heads till this moment. That now it is not the cane, it is not the chain, it is not the actual koboko. Now ain't they their hand anymore. Everything has now become different things. The media is part of the things that are using to chain our minds, which is the chain of today. That is the media. You know, are so many things that, like I keep telling people that some people will deny and say, "Oh, I accepted Christianity of my own free will." Yes, you did accept it of your own free will because there's no other choices you could pick. The only things left for you is to be a Christian or be a Muslim. Because when you were born, none of your parents asked you from maybe 4 years old when you started talking and say, "Hey, my dear, do you want to be a Christian or a Muslim, or do you want to practice the faith of your forefathers?" They don't ask you. They take you to church or they take you to mosque. That itself is a problem because you have taken the free will of that child. You are taking the free thinking ability of that child to discern what is happening in the society and decide for themselves what they need to do. And to understand, for example, if you look at Islam, for example, for you to be able to communicate with Allah, you must understand Arabic. Is it only Arabic that supreme Allah that wants to rule over the world understands? That I cannot communicate with it with my own language.
Yes.
If you look at this, for example, now let me give you another example of Turkey. There's this history about Turkey that people don't understand. It's an Islamic state, right? But you know that in Turkey, none of them go for Hajj in Saudi Arabia. One of their kings, I've forgotten his name, stopped it. He made sure the Quran was written in their language. They don't read Quran in Arabic because he wants to preserve the essence of his people, but enjoy that religion is a different thing. That itself has saved his people from total brainwashing. But in Africa, we speak Arabic. They force you to even do it. They beat you for it. And without it, you can't even say prayers in the mosque. The same thing in our own in English, in Christianity. That's why you said, I wrote it in that book, that if you look at it, many books, not of today, you can find Ababio in Hausa language or whatever today, but they should still let's ask ourselves, can you find a book called there's many books. Can you find them in our local language for us to read and understand in our own dialect? No. But what you find is that we have to speak English, understand everything from the European, even all the holidays that we celebrate in Africa is European made. Christmas, Easter, everything. So my brother, it is a problem because we take our money to Rome, we take our money to Israel, we take our money to Saudi Arabia. How many people come to Africa to actually bring their money to come and see our own Shango, to see our own distance? I was still watching a video yesterday, and you will be surprised. Do you know that they were celebrating Eshu, the same one the Bible or Ajayi Crowder decided to turn to Satan in Yoruba context for people? They are celebrating a carnival watched by more than 20,000 Yoruba and Brazilians in that country in a massive ground. And they were celebrating Eshu or Dara, the one that they have called the devil. So, my brother, as you have asked, religion is a problem.
Wow. So now, wait till you try talk now. So you try tell us, say, the white people bring religion to use that. Now, what did you try tell us now?
Exactly, my brother. Exactly. No mincing words. No. How would I say? No lying about anything. Because if you look at this, let me first put it this way. Before we had anything to do with religion, like I said, what I understand is spirituality that we have. Let me just give you some few different tips of differences about the both. Then I will now tell you some few things about what these white people saw when they came themselves before they sold this nonsense to us. Now, religion is based on a book. Spirituality follows the laws of nature. Religion fills you with dreams of glory in heaven. Spirituality makes you experience glory and heaven here and now. Religion promises you heaven and hell after death. Spirituality is about finding the creator from within you during life and death. There is one spirituality but several religions, my brother. So those are some few differences I can give you. Now, I'll quickly go to this guy. They call him Sir Macaulay. um his name is Sir Babington Macaulay or something like that, if I'm remembering his name right. His name is Sir Babington. Yeah, his name is Thomas Babington Macaulay, a British parliamentary member. This is his submission, his exact words in around 1883 or something like that, February around that time. This is what he said. Well, actually, what he said, because I'm not, I'm looking for the text. I have it in my phone, but I don't know where it is here. But what he actually said is that he has never met, for anybody who can find his name, can find it on the internet and see the text I'm talking about. His name is Sir Thomas Babington Macaulay. He said that he has never met anybody, any people with such high caliber society. He was wild about what we had. But he said something profoundly to his people in the British Parliament, that for us to conquer these people, we have to take away their spirituality, take away their education, who they are. If we don't break the backbone of who they are, we can never conquer them. And what did they first do? They took away our spirituality. And with that, they conquered us. The same thing, go and read the same text that he said. The same thing was said in King Leopold's letter that they used in conquering Congo. Because in that one too, they said that these people already know that it is bad to sleep with another man's wife. It is bad to steal. It is bad, all the bad things we know. But he said, you have to make sure you teach them the Bible in such a way that it will do us good by being able to be, for us to be able to steal from them and turn their fathers against their children and all those things. And there also you have the Bible also saying where Jesus Christ said, I have come and I will turn the fathers against mothers, brothers against sisters, and so on and so forth, I said. But you know what? When you say those things, these people will tell you, oh, you are picking it out of context. But when their pastors in the church is preaching to them based on a topic and say, open so chapter and read it, they don't care. They follow the pastors. But read this Bible literally and look at it and conceptualize it with what is happening to the world today. And you will see the actual scam these people have done to us, the actual crime they have committed to us. As I'm speaking to you, my brother, racism is happening in Namibia. Present day, right now, I'm not talking old time. In Namibia, presently, as I'm speaking to you, there's restaurants where black people cannot go and eat in that country. When you are there eating, they will tell you it's time for you to go. We have to, our own people are coming. Present day. That's why it's funny to me that many of us are bothered about what is happening out there in the world rather than bothering ourselves what is happening internally. So, my brother, religion has been used by the white man, European or the Asian or even the Arabs to perpetrate evil to us in the name of bringing a civilization through their own ways of life.
So now you try to tell us now, say the white people do us more bad. That is, if they bring bad to us than good. That is, they do good. They not do good to us at all. Say everything where they bring come Africa, everything are just to make us hate one another, like harm to us. Huh? How you try to talk so?
My brother, I don't know how I go take talk. I don't know how I go take tell you define what they call bad, because bad now understatement. Waiting they do us, not be bad. Waiting they do us, now pure evil. Now pure evil. Not be say bad. Because let me explain something to you, my brother. When I say bad is understatement. If you they look like story of the past, say, oh, they took us as slave, they took our forefathers as slave, they did this, and let me explain some scenarios to you. They came, these Arabs would take slaves in the desert. If you cannot make it, they see that you are weak. They stab you with a knife. You don't die, be that. Case closed. Yeah. Match the others, they go, be that. Look at the word that most of these black people in America or all these people they use today. They just use it without caring the way it comes from. Motherfucker. Do you know what it means, my brother? It actually came from the fact that they breed us like animals. They make a son sleep with his own mother to give birth to another child so that they can sell, because it's just like a cow giving birth to a child. It doesn't matter who sleeps with it or whatever. As long as it produces an offspring for them to sell, it's business. That is where motherfucker came from. So that is one of the reasons why today I don't use the word motherfucker anymore with anybody. I used to use it before because I was in that age of not knowing, but now I know. So these are some of the few things I can tell you. Are you talking about even the people on the, look at the, you should have heard about the story of the Igbo people. that they decided that they don't want to be slaves anymore. And they fought in the ship. They even jumped over, drowned themselves. Not to talk of the ones or the pregnant women that have been thrown overboard, over ships and everything into water, just to protect whatever they are doing. So, my brother, I can't count the many atrocities of what religion has done. Which brings me to even tell you this. You can also find out. It's called the Papal Bull by the Roman Catholic, by the Pope. Do you know that this bill is telling them that they have the rights from the supreme God to take over, to conquer anywhere in the name of God?
Yes.
That brings them to the fact that that's the reason why, if you look at, let's get out of Africa. You heard recently what happened in Canada, where they found bones of children buried under the church, Catholic church, some days ago, some months ago. These are the crimes the church committed on people. Are you talking about the images in Rome today? If you go there, you see it. You see an adult with a baby on the man's private parts. What is that symbol for? They have been sleeping with young children. They have been perverts. These are some of the crimes of Pope Alexander VI, which you call the Borgia family. The son, Caesar Borgia, is what people celebrate as Jesus Christ today. So these are the many things I'm telling you. So they have done evil. It's bad is an understatement, my brother. Bad is an understatement.
So they try to tell us, say, they use religion to come, like, say, we're not there into slave, like mental slavery or enslave us. You mean say white now, you bring religion come to enslave us. Now they try to
Yes. Yes, my brother. That's what they did. And
how people will like know, because
okay.
according to your audio, they say religion, they bring our come to enslave us, but we don't know, we praise the white people, all those kind of things. So people would like know how religion table like say that they use until they enslave us.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of things to unpack in that question, that how. You know, if you listen to that audio that I even read very well, you hear the parts where I discussed, I was reading about how they came to Africa, took slaves with the boat named Jesus. And is there in history. It's not something that is being said out of opinion or just to create one propaganda. Then you also understand that the society that many of us live in today, the London, the UK, the Scotland, the America, Argentina, and all those things were built on the blood of slaves, were built on the backbone of black people, were built on the riches of black people. So now, people will say, is it now religion they used? Yes, it is. They came to you, sold you the fact, but I'm not taking away the fact that they didn't have internal help by some of our own people that have lost satisfaction or connection to their own self, and they use them. So basically, what I'm saying is that they came to us, and what they did was that they sold an ideology of, we are bringing a civilization, we are bringing light upon you, we are bringing a new world unto you. And our own people forgot who they are, and they threw that away to accept another man's own, and not knowing that this man that came to you actually had a gimmick upstairs, had something that he wanted to do. He wanted to take something from you, but in order to take it, he had to sell you an ideology. So when you bought that ideology, that is how he was able to get into you and take away from you. Because if you look at it this way, the world, the Africa, some people will say that if we pray more, we'll get that. But I've realized that we've been praying for 500 years now. We have been asking this God they brought to us to save us. But no, rather than being saved, we are getting down into a deep hole. But I now saw that the difference between us and most of the countries that are well-to-do today, I'm talking about Russia, China, and many others you can mention, they are staying in the values of who they are. They have rejected the ideology that we have accepted. They have decided to be who they are without accepting westernization. And that is how they stood their ground. And if you look at the Bible and this religion, a lot of Western influence is into it. For example, as I was discussing earlier, I keep telling people that it is these same religions that placed our women. As this one is very painful to me because it has destroyed a lot of men in our society. It has destroyed a lot of marriages and it has destroyed a lot of women. What do I mean? You hear feminism today. You think it's an ideology that is trying to fight for women's rights. Yes, that's what they tell you it is all about. But believe me, it is a problem from that same religion, where even in the Bible it tells you that for a woman to speak, she has to ask permission from a man. Who be you for our old time? Mama go dey talk, iya go dey talk, àwọn ìyá mi òṣòròǹgà go dey talk, you go talk say you wan talk. Who you be? Who are you in front of a woman? And you cannot off your cap in a sign of respect. But today they think it's gentlemanly to remove your cap. But we don't get that, my brother. Shey you get what I talk? So, like I said, a lot of things dey to unpack to actually answer that question. But what I'm just going to advise to people is that I am not speaking today out of opinion. I'm not speaking because, oh, I hate Christianity or I hate Islam or I hate anybody who is practicing. That is not my deal. Because my own father is still an evangelist as I speak to you right now. But he knows I don't believe in any religious. I'm not an atheist. But I believe in my culture and tradition. I believe in Olodumare. But I don't just believe in anything foreign. I don't believe in the concept of any white man's ideology or whatever, because it has destroyed the valuable essence of who we are as Africans, especially the fact that everything we know before they came, today they claim it, rebrand it to us and act as if, no, they are the originators of it. And thereby, many of our children today now think that the white man is better than us, to an extent that my former boss one day was telling me that we have to worship the white men, and the white men should worship God for us because they are better than us. Do you see that level of weakness? That level of weakness is also the reason why you want to do baptism. It is by force. You must bear an English name. If you don't bear an English name, you cannot see heaven. What's the meaning of that? And if you look at these names, they don't even have any meaning, constructive meaning. You look at, for example, my name now, Akinkonju. It has a meaning. It means being brave to your eyes. Very brave warrior. That's what it means. Akinkonju. It has something to do. You hear a child bearing names like Abike, Abeke. It gets meaning, my brother. But every other thing doesn't have meaning when it comes from there. But we have accepted it so wholeheartedly. But let me put that to a stop there for that.
Okay, so for according to your audio, you talk the black ancestors when the white people call damage. A lot of us not to get that thing clear. What do you mean by that word? Say they call damage our ancestors.
Okay, yeah. When I mean say they damage our ancestors, you see, they in one of the first lies that they make us believe, we say our ancestors then they weak. That one na number one. I won't correct that notion for people. Say my ancestors, our ancestors, they know we then fight. In fact, they took most of the brave ones. They killed most of the brave ones that fought to preserve us for still being who we are to today. Because if not because they didn't fight, then no go. We ourselves will not go be today. So now to your question, say how they take damage our ancestors. I'm talking about the evil where they commit to our ancestors. I'm talking about the crimes against them, taking a father away from their family and taking them overseas for slavery, taking a mother away from their child. Do you know that some mothers had to kill themselves and their children because they didn't want their children to go into slavery? They understand what it means. That is crime to humanity. Do you know the amount of genocide that is committed in the name of this religion that they used in now taking people as slaves into their own country? You can read about the Jim Crow law and see how Jim Crow law was influenced by religion, Christianity most especially in America, and what it has done and damage to the American people till today. There's a lot to talk and unpack about these crimes. But today, you see Christians, you hear Christians cherry pick on slavery is bad. Oh, it was a bad thing. It happened, but I still believe in Jesus Christ. Oh, I still believe in God. You believe in the same person that sat down to destroy people, to destroy an entire generation, entire civilization, all in the name of superiority, to prove that the white man is better than you? Or do you think that the white, no, see, let me put it this way. The white man comes from the highest town. You call them I call them people of the highest place, because they had no sun, they had no food, they have anything. That is why they are very, very barbaric. They are very evil in their mindset. And this is the thing. The only failure I feel that we have was that we failed to protect ourselves, not knowing that. And I wouldn't even call it failure, but it's just that we are very accommodating. We are very peaceful, loving people. That is why we allowed them to come and they did all those things. But now that we know them, we have to start telling our children of the evil that these people committed on us. The fact that they raped our children, raped our teenagers, raped our boys. Ajayi Crowder, that people give credit to, that translated the Bible or whatever. He was taken at the age of 10. He came back later in the future as an adult. Do you know what they have done to him from that age 10 to when he came back? And now decided that he wants to translate the Yoruba language into Bible. Go to everywhere. You see they did one same thing. That is where you will answer the question of the crimes they are committing to us. They turn the supreme God that those people claim as supreme God to them, they call it God. They will now find an opposing power, not actually opposing to that same supreme God, but actually a very, like in Yoruba now, Eshu is a very, very powerful Orisha. If you look at everything that is surrounding us and the actual reality, because like I used to tell people, I like to look at reality. Look at the crime that is happening in present day today. Look at the scams that is happening out there, but yet our people still celebrate these pastors. For example, hear what is happening with Pastor Suleiman. Hear what somebody like Adeboye is telling his congregation the day with all the Fulani bandits or whatever atrocities or whatever thing that is happening in the country. As they said, I had been saying in church that when God said it's over to you, and when he was explaining that, he said when you are slapped in the left cheek, you turn the right one. And after you the right one, what did God say? Said nothing. It means over to you. Are you not deceiving your congregation when you are supposed to tell them to defend themselves against whatever insecurity is happening in the country, but yet you are telling them God has just told them over to them? So God has left them, but somebody is still shouting hallelujah behind him, and don't realize that that is a dumb statement that I just heard from whoever they call a man of God. Look at what happened in Ukraine and this thing. Suleiman is praying for Ukraine, but he's not praying for the people that is dying in Benue, or the 3 million or over 3 million people in IDP camp in Benue State. But he's praying for Ukraine. Is that not hypocrisy? But yet people are celebrating them. These are crimes to, if people don't look at it, these are crimes to us. This is a man that is out there on the media. I'm not saying it. I don't know. But they have brought it out. They have brought evidences out there of him sleeping around with so many celebrities and so on and so forth. But yeah, people are there, and I still see this one who calls herself Mommy Gio too, saying boldly in front of a congregation, I dine with the devil. In fact, we eat together. I get flying carpets. And people sit down, they listen to that person. Is that not be juju be that one? Not be correct, strong juju in the use for people. When they go sit down, they listen to that kind of thing. This is crime to the intellectual space of my people. And I'm asking people to wake up to ask questions. That is where the problem is. That is just me bringing it back home, because if we have to talk about the crimes committed from, if we have to bring and unpack the history from the back to from the past till today, there's a lot to talk about, my brother. I'm just coming down to realities of present day society that people need to see, because we have prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed in the name of Jesus, in the name of Muhammad. Everything for my society is not changing, but yet people are using these same religious activities to commit crimes. Not that there are no other human beings outside this that don't. That's a different thing entirely. That's a different argument. But to be candid, the major problems we have in Africa today that has tied us down to not being able to think is this religion. Some people will use this statement, they will say it's high time to think outside the box. But like PLO Lumumba will say, and I concur with him, is it not high time we think without the box? Because the box itself, we don't know who gave it to us, that we are thinking outside the box. Because that box itself might be the problem that we have, that we are thinking outside. It's either we think without it at all, because that is the only way to save ourselves from all this nonsense or generational problem we have inherited since 500 years ago.
So now, according to what you they talk now, if I say make I follow up,
Yes,
well,
brother.
so you dey try the
Yeah.
religion na the greatest deception wey dey among us wey we dey live now in Africa. And what did they try tell us now?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a deception, just like I've explained earlier. If we put it as deception, is that let me put it in terminology. My brother, before anybody encounters the Bible or the Quran, is it not possible say your papa go don tell you say if you steal, you no good, if you lie, you no good? Without the Bible, I'm saying this. So these are normal advices your parents will give you. You don't have to read a Bible or read a Quran or anything before you get. Because I said all these things that my grandfather have told me all these things without reading all these things. It's a general advice, but I didn't have to go to church. So the deception is that people have to think that without that text, they cannot find true meaning to their life. They cannot find true meaning to understanding the realities of their surrounding. In fact, I am saying that the Bible or religious text is taking people outside the realities of who they are. Because all the Bible, I asked somebody, the guy told me, oh, the Bible is not complete in his own way, that there's another book, 7 books of Moses. There's another, I've forgotten that book. There's the Torah and all those things. And I asked him a simple question. I said, please, in all these texts, tell me where Oshogbo is in that book. If we look at the crimes of the past till today, there's a lot to speak about, but it's not a thing I would want to unpack right now. But the thing is that we need to understand that we have been trampled upon in the name of bringing a civilization to us. Mind you, before the Portuguese came to present day, what you call Edo State, the Benin Empire of old, the Portuguese, when they landed there, they were wow, because when they got there, there's an article online on it itself. So this is not me, my opinion. I'm not an historian. I'm not an archaeologist. But yet, I found that article online also written that when they came to Benin, old Benin Empire, the city was structured in a fractal organization, which means they had walls around them, they had streets, they had a center town roundabout, they had street lights, not with electricity though, but they had it with lamps. They had street lamps, all those. So it means they had an organized society. And in the same era of that period, London today, that many of us celebrate like it's a whole beautiful place, they called it a house of den, prostitutes and thieves. They had no organization. They had no civilization that met up with that Benin Empire. Not to talk of other great places in Africa. Songhai Empire. You have the Oyo Empire. You have many empires. You have the Mali Empire. The many of them that were structured, that had universities. So how come they gave us civilization? No, what they did was they actually stole from us. The people we call explorers, like Christopher Columbus, the people we call explorers and all those people, to me, they are thieves and thugs that people celebrate today as wonderful people, but rather they are just people that are thieves and thugs that came to my land, killed my forefathers, told them it's either the sword or you do this. If you don't do that, by the sword. Look at Lord Lugard that we celebrate in Nigeria. That people say, oh, he founded Nigeria. Lord Lugard, he created Nigeria. These guys sat down, and behind him, they were heads of human beings. He used them to snap a picture. Do you know the heads that were there? Heads of my people. It could have been a Yoruba man, Igbo, Hausa, Ijo, Ibibio, or whatever, that were hanging behind him, and he sat down there. Urobo, and he took pictures with it, my brother. He took pictures with it. And today, People are celebrating them, calling them Mongo Park discovered River Niger. Oh, before the Mongo Park came to River Niger, the people that were living there, they didn't know there was a river there. So when he came, he now shouted and said, oh, people come, I found a river for you to fish there. You know, see how foolish they tell us stories and we celebrate it. Like I said, one of the major crimes is the crime against our intellectual space, our intellectual capacity. We are more than this. We knew a lot of things. We understood a lot of things, like what they call in English now science. They call our own juju. They call our own voodoo. They call it black magic. What is the difference? Because science in some days ago, even to them in that white land, when people performed it, they called them witches because they could not understand what they were doing and they killed them for it. Until they started understanding, they call it science, something you can trace to an evidence of that has an evidence to back it up. So have you asked my forefathers who can stop the rain by calling on one thing or the other, the scientific method they are using for it? Maybe you can do the same thing. They are not hiding it, but you have not approached them to ask them for the secret. So what is juju there? They could not even cure chicken pox, but we knew that before they came here. We knew how to. That is what we call shokmono in Yoruba. We gave them the vaccine for shokmono. For that, they didn't know all this is. So today, when you talk about vaccine, antidote, and all, it's like as if it's a new thing. No, your fathers and your forefathers are doing. But maybe you know now. I go talk for Yoruba. I know now they talk for their own language. You go here, say they talk. Say one singbere, like say you use a blade. They cut your skin. They put something inside. It's an act of vaccinating somebody. Yeah, it's an act of vaccinating somebody for something. If you get one thing, they go vaccinate you. Now, waiting that they call one singbere. So, my brother, the crime is too much to mention. But the major thing is that they have done us harm. So, it is surprising to me that my people today celebrate the crimes of these people in the name of a religion that tells them to forgive and forget. I am a child of Ogun, and Ogun does not teach me to forget. I can forgive you, but I do not forget, so that you will not repeat the same thing with me. That is what my own forefather taught me, and that is what I stick by. Thank you.
So, according to religion, many religions, this is not just only Christian. They talk say somebody they come save us. So they try to tell us now, say all the say one day save you come, everybody. They tell us say this thing now a lie. Say nobody they come.
Oh God, my brother. When you ask me that question and the way they ask me, you see I they laugh. I they laugh in Chinese. Because let me put it this way. Let me ask you to a direct question, my brother. Maybe that one will help me answer yourself. You know, say as we don't input Niger blood food, they call ourselves Niger before. We say we ask questions with questions. So my brother, I want to ask you too. My forefather will die 1,000 years ago before they bring Christianity and Islam come Africa. Or before they bring Islam and Christianity come out, my forefather will die. Where then go day when the day of reckoning go come, whether they call the end of the world and there will be judgment, where then go? Heaven or hellfire? Okay. Before we talk of the person we want to save those who did and the ones who don't die before.
Yes.
You don't understand me. You see? So maybe now the
get somebody else go.
Oh God. You see, well, let me put it this way. My brother.
Yes.
Nobody is coming to save anybody. Any Christian or any Islamic person listening to me, they might go crazy. Yes. I don't care. I don't give a rat's about that. Pardon my language. But the thing is that to be candid and be fair and be truthful to ourselves, if we are talking about reality, there is no promise to me as a Yoruba man that somebody is coming back to save me. In fact, the Yorubas, we believe in one thing, and that itself does not make me scared about that. Rather than Christianity or Islam telling you when you die, you go to one heaven or hell, depending on your character or whatever. As a Yoruba man, I believe that when I die, I will reincarnate. Whatever I did not complete in this realm that I am now, I will come back to do it again. And I will come through my lineage, my answer, my line. I will not be born as a white man. Incarnation. No, I will be born through my ancestry again to fulfill the wish of Olodumare. That itself makes me understand and appreciate life and death, because it's a circle of life. Death itself is part of the circle of life. So, but to answer your question, somebody is coming to save us. Why is that person waiting? Is it until we all die and the world is full of white people? Because whether we like it or not, there is a game of whitewashing everything. There is white supremacy. There is the need to make you as African be weak of who you are, and they are superior. That is why, as I speak to you, my children do not bear the names that is English or French. Even though I live in a society where French is dominated, my family, my surrounding, they speak French, but my child does not bear those names because it has no meaning to me. I want my child to grow up in the essence of who she is. That is why I decided to make sure they live in their own essence without being weak to another man. That is why when I hear, even before now that I speak to you, when I meet ladies, I ask a girl out and she says, my name is Faith, my name is Favor. I ask them, no, are you Igbo? She says, yes. I said, tell me your local name. I want to know if your name is Chuduberim, I want to call you that name. It's important to me than you telling me you are Faith or Favor. I was called Emmanuel one time, but I decided not to use it anymore. So these are the reasons, because I felt like bearing those names itself is making me feel weak, like my own name is not appreciated. And lastly, let me also put it this way for you before I put a nail on that your question again. Somebody will say to me that English language is supreme, is easy, and all those things. It has a lot of meaning. And I asked one brother one day in Yoruba language, I said, please explain to me what aromogege means in English. That's Yoruba language for you. That's a word I just spoke. And that word means a person who carries the child very well, bears the child behind their back very well. That is what I just said. Do you see how eloquent, how beautiful my language is for me to use it rather than use that? So now, when you are, that's why I keep saying that when you live outside the experience of who you are, is when you start believing in falsification, and that somebody one day will come from somewhere to come and save me. From what? From a sin that they created, that they decided that it is sin. From something they decided that, oh, the life is going to end. End when? It should have ended by now with the level of atrocities and crimes committed by the same people that brought it to us. The world should have ended and given us, who are the victims, giving us peace. We don't have peace. Till today, black men are scorned of the earth anywhere they go. They are victimized, beaten, rubbished, as I said in the audio, beaten and mocked everywhere. Look at a guy just killed in Italy. A guy, he's an Igbo man on walking stick. They killed him. Somebody videoed it. The guy went, they now arrested him later. But while they were videoing it, they didn't stop the guy from killing the poor cripple. Look at what happened to our children in Morocco when they were traveling down to Spain. See how they were beaten, killed. But they opened doors for Ukrainians during their war because they are white or what? But black people were all over the space disrespected, even within Africa, in countries like Tunisia and co. So when are we going to open our eyes that the only saving thing that we need right now is ourselves? And that is only when you truly emancipate yourself and weaponize it. If we fail to do that, my brother, we will continue to die in circle, and that Jesus will never come. He's not going to come in anywhere. That is a big scam on its own.
Okay. Now I don't get you. So now you tell us, say, religion now, they account to need pidgin language. They take money from us or to make us. Which one? This religion, so because that's so religion now, they bring account to take money from us with the Africa, or they bring account to help us. Which
Well,
is
my brother, well, you don't use the right English for there. Extortion. If you listen to this guy, I don't know the the title they put in front of his name. This guy they call Pararan, this leader of Nation of Islam. There was one time in do an interview when they called Nigeria corrupt. He said something back to them. If you are saying Nigeria is corrupt, you are corrupt because you are the one who is aiding them. There's one adage in Yoruba, I will say it, but I will translate it in English. Which means that it is not he who stole the palm oil keg from the cupboard that is the thief, but the person who collected it from him and kept it is the thief. Now let's talk about the corruption before we go into the one that the religious society brought. First, if you look at it, they will call you corrupt, they call you thief in Africa. It's full of corruption and everything. Where is the money kept? Switzerland, America, London. Even in London, you have a particular street for corrupt leaders in Africa who have estates and everything there. Why don't they send them away? Why don't they return the monies and everything? So now let's come to the church that you are talking about. I mentioned something earlier, the paper bill to you. In history, they tax the commoners to the last money they have. And the Pope that to see as the next to God is living a luxurious life. And they are busy telling everybody, blessed is the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Which earth do you want to inherit? What year, which day, which time do you want to inherit the earth? When the actual Pope done the inherit earth already. So you understand what I'm saying? That is number one. Then moving on. Moving on. Look at the Catholic enterprise. Do you know how much that institution has and has taken away from indigenous lands all over the world that have enriched them, that have created what you call the Vatican City today? And yet, my people that practice these religions, they are poor. Tell me the poorest countries in the world and find if they are not practicing Christianity or Islam there. Tell me, aside from Saudi Arabia, where is the source that they say it is? Saudi Arabia is getting rich. Those countries, they are getting okay. They are being okay in their own essence. But we travel from our country to Saudi Arabia for Hajj. We invest in their tourism, give them money, and we come back to our land with the hope of have received blessing that has never left you from your land. We go to Israel too, in the hope of we want to go and meet God, closer to God. We have invested in their tourism, and we come back home. The same thing with going to Rome, to the Vatican, for those that believe in Catholicism or whatever. The same thing. But now, Africa, tell me the holy land in Africa that everybody in the world is always rushing to in a particular time and date every time. If not for the preservation of our cultural heritage like the Yoruba people, I don't know, I can't speak for Igbo or any other ethnicity, pardon me. You have people in Brazil, Cuba, and everybody coming to Africa from like this Osho-Oshogbo festival. Till today, as I speak to you, my brother, Nigeria has not allowed, or the Yoruba states or governors have not turned that to a practical tourism that the whole world will be coming to and be making billions and billions of dollars on. And that itself, do you know why that is not a scam with the difference from their own? The people coming home to come and see this, they are actual Yoruba people, or actually have turned themselves into Yoruba by practicing the Yoruba way of life and want to connect with the source of that Yoruba because they have Yoruba heritage or Yoruba relationship. You see people coming from Brazil, Bahia, coming from Cuba, coming from Trinidad and Tobago and all those things. These people are Yoruba slaves, descendants of Yoruba slaves that have been dead. I want to come home and connect with their heritage. It's different from us that have no allegiance or no ancestry to Rome, to Saudi Arabia, and saying we want to go there and go and see God. What are you going there to do? Nothing. So that itself, my brother, is extortion. Now come back home, my brother. Tithe is a major discussion at a very particular point in time we know in Nigeria. Look at with all the tithe, like I said, they are built schools, like you have Redeemers University, you have Cork, you have Covenant. Tell me how many of the commoners in those churches can put their children in those schools. But yet it is their 10% that created that school. It's their 10% that furnish the old churches they have. Because what investment do they have? Nothing. Do I want to talk about histories of many pastors who have used their churches their ideologies of these Christians and everything to extort their members, turned families that are rich to nothing. I've had a particular testimony of a lady who said that their mom collects salary and give 50% to the church, but rather would not even give the own children what they need mostly until the woman eye clear. One day say, this is what they do me anyhow. To the day they realized was the day that a church worker who sweeps the church is asking for a place to sleep because they chased her out of her own house. And the church said, no, they cannot accommodate her. She has to find a place to stay, that the church is not for that. And this mother will be giving 50% of my money to the church. But she was denied when she needed help. So is this not extortion? In fact, to be candid, not to praise any other thing, but believe me, they are the greatest scammers. These pastors are the greatest scammers. You've had scandals of Fato Ibo in Nigeria. You've had scandals of many of these pastors. Nothing has been done to them till today. So religion and all these things have been used in politicking of the country we live in, we call Nigeria in Africa. And that itself is reason why it is a problem. It is a core problem and a core part of the destruction of the African civilization, because it has destroyed the educational fundamentals that we have.
So now, before I go, the way you take they talk about Christianity, they talk about Bible. So it won't make me ask you this question. According to everything way they talk now, they try tell us now, say Bible not correct. I be waiting, they try tell us.
Well, first and foremost, my brother, yes. I'll put it this way. The Bible to me is a fantasy book. It's just like any other folklore that can be written by anybody. And we all know.
If you break down so that my people feel understand.
Yeah, I will. I'm trying to remember, because most of this is I'm speaking offhand right now. And most of there's this conference they did. As I'm speaking, if I remember the conference, I would throw it in. There's this conference they did at a particular time where everybody sat down and they decided on what books to write and what books to remove from the text they call the Bible today. So the question we should ask ourselves is that they say the Bible is influenced by God's word or influenced by God himself. And the question now is that when they first came out with the Old Testament, and let's say they added the New Testament or whatever, so the question now is that did God now later say, oh, remove this particular book because this one, I don't like it, it does not speak well or whatever. That is for us to understand that it is a book written just by anybody. Then in the Bible itself, what does this mean? The Bible is just a language. It's just a word, which means book itself. So adding holy in front of Holy Bible is just the same thing as saying holy book. So the Bible itself is I have a book that I call Java Bible when I was studying programming. Java Bible. So it's Java book. It's the same as Java book. So when I said the Bible is not, when you ask me, is it not, and I say yes, is it not correct or is it not complete? See, when I say not correct is because the Bible is full of a lot of plagiarism. The Bible is full of a lot of taking a lot of stories from another place and putting it into the Bible, creating another identity for it. You have the Zoroastrian religion where they took the ideologies of Moses, was in the when he was a baby, put in a basket and he flowed in the river. That was what happened to one king in I think it's about the Zoroastrian thing. You read it there, but I can't particularly place a name. But I know people that are following can go and make this research themselves. So that is one thing. Then another thing I keep telling people is that there's this man I follow online. One time when I was trying to search for a lot of knowledge, his name is Dr. Ben Yosef Jochanan. I repeat, Dr. Ben Yosef Jochanan. I think he's dead right now. He wrote a lot of books, made me understand a lot about Kemet, the Nile River, and so many things. But he said one profound thing. He said Moses never existed. And I wondered why. Why would he say that? That is blasphemy, according to what they will say. But truly, there's one simple thing he asked. He said, go to the archives of the pharaohs. Go to the archives of Egypt today and ask them to produce to you the name of Moses as a prince in the kingdom of Egypt. You can never find it. How can a prince
Well, so
that ruled a land?
me say the story of Moses about Egypt, if you go ask Egypt people, they'll tell you say not their history.
Not happen. Go ask them. Not happen. Go ask them, my brother. Moses did not exist in Egypt. Go and ask them. I am not, like I said, I'm not speaking out of opinion. I'm speaking out of facts by people that are archaeologists that have gone there to go and study. So the question, like I said, he asked was that Dr. Willis ask yourself, how can somebody be a prince in Egypt and his name is not recorded in Egypt itself, but only in the Bible? How come Israelites were slaves in Egypt and no other documentation recorded it except the Bible? So now, Egypt, look at Egypt from Egypt to Israel of today. They said when they were going, they escaped for 14 days and 40 nights, right? That they went before they could get, they had to scatter. My brother, what kind of lie is that? When others were escaping from there, they had problem. When Jesus went to go and hide there, they had a road to find there. He found a road easily to get to Egypt to go and hide. But when it was time for them to escape Egypt, they didn't find road again. But later, some of the pastors will tell you God had to confuse them to learn a lesson for a distance that could cost them just maybe 10 days, even if they are walking. And they spent 40 days and 40 nights just to create what? Noah's Ark, where is it till today? Ask yourself a question, my brother. Now, they preach to say Esau and Jacob, we sold our birthright and we are the lineage of Esau. The Arabs, we sold our birthright. But the people who said their birthright will be Arabs, blacks like us, and we get skin like the Arabs and the black people. Saudi Arabia, they successful now. Why we do this successful? So now we be the only one we carry the curse of Esau for head. So now we carry him. No be Arab no carry him anymore. But the white people will be Jacob, we get better skin and everything. We sell our birthright and them they enjoy. All these things is just a game of the mind, my brother. That's why I said the Bible is not complete. It's just a book written in context of control, and they used it very well. You can actually just pick tomorrow the book of they call it the book of the dead. If you read that book, if they decide they want to use that and weaponize it and become something that that's the same thing we'll do. Look at the Chinese people now, they're already coming, they know they already come to our land, come they learn Ifa now. Tomorrow now, they go put 2 + 2 together, create one religion, call them Confucian, whatever. And all of us go follow them if they civilize us. Because right now, the world is changing. Power is changing now from the West to the Chinese or the Russian. We don't know which one that will become the leader tomorrow. Maybe they will enslave us again or whatever. If they say, fall in line, Confucius is the next religion, that's what all of us will do. And that's the same way they brought that nonsense. And that whatever book they give to us will become the next holy book. And we'll just fall in line again, just as Africans, as foolish as they think we are. So that is why I'm part of the reasons that will create disturbance in your mind. I'm willing to bet everything that I have to make sure people that want to listen and emancipate themselves, because it's necessary. If we don't change that narrative now, our next 50 years is not going to be well. And that is what I am after. I want to leave this world to put a print on the lands to make sure that my children, my next generation, can live a free life, because we're in the age of knowledge where we can find out things easily. All these things I'm saying is right there out there. Just type any one thing and start putting 2 + 2 together. You'll be wow. You get to understand.
Not only me want to listen to you, so a lot of people they listen to you. But lastly, before we go, because we don't take time away. So wait till you get now, we want to tell all these Africa people with religion don't tie them with religion. They don't let person hear one. This kababa, you go Shiki Republic kababa, you want to kababa. Wait till you get to tell to just tell them all these people with religion don't tie. Okay. Anywhere you go, they go they watch. You understand? They do salam everywhere, not only just Christian. Wait till you get to tell these Africa people, yeah.
My brother, let me put it this way. The only thing we have to differentiate people, because when you say tie down, there are some people who will say religion, if you don't tie them down, but then they're ready to learn, then they're open-minded. I've met a lot of people. I still meet a lot of people that say, oh, I'm a Christian, but I'm deeply rooted in my culture. like Yoruba, those ones are okay because they're asking questions. And with time, they'll definitely get out of that religious dogmatism because that is the actual major problem. But there are some people that are fanatics. No matter what you tell them, believe me, they are a gunner. Don't bother yourself. But with all honesty, with that question you asked me, either they are fanatics or open-minded or whatever. This is my only advice to everybody. Open your mind and be very inquisitive. Ask questions. Because the religion you are inside is asking you not to ask questions. And that is where the problem began for me. Because that is the reason why I ask questions. Because there's this psychology. The moment I tell you now, Pararan, that thing with your table, no touch am. Something go dey bite you for mind. Why you tell me to make I no touch that thing? Before you know it, your consciousness will drive you to want to touch it to see exactly what I'm talking about. So the moment you start telling people don't ask questions, some people, they are lazy, truly, not to want to because they are afraid, oh, I might go to hellfire or whatever. No. Brothers and sisters, they are not going to any hellfire or any heaven for good deeds or whatever. Whatever you sow, you shall reap. On this surface of this realm, if you die, according to what I believe in, you go come back on suffer or you go come back on reap. So as far as I'm concerned, all I'm going to ask you is go and ask questions. The moment you start questioning everything you read in that Bible or in that Quran, that is the day you start finding freedom. Because like a saying of one man, I've forgotten a quote that I said, I could have freed 1,000 slaves, even only if they knew they were slaves themselves. But when somebody na slave and he know access saying be slave, how you won't take free him? When you they tell him say na dog that mo escape, they tell you say what are you saying? I'm enjoying them. My God, they feed me well. Why you won't make I escape go on certain life or whatever? Not knowing that he's a slave there, and that is what's happening to many of our people in the society. So until they realize that there is a better world for them outside that religious circle, that is when they find true freedom, and that is when Africa will find its freedom and find its way.
I don't take your time well today. I go like one release you now, make you for go. I know say a lot of people they enjoy. They already say Pararan now we don't get better person where you could talk. You want to learn and go. But if you want to hear more about them, I beg you feel drop your social media and so that they'll follow you all those places where you think they do your normal this thing where people feel go make them feel they listening to you. A lot of my followers go like won't follow people like you. Not every time. They follow me, say they won't like or your cage. So don't drop your social media handle and where the officer see you, where the officer meet you so that you see they educate them.
Yeah, actually I will drop them with you, but you can definitely find me for Twitter. I do on Twitter and on Clubhouse. There's this new application they call Clubhouse. You can find me there. My profile is Akinyemi. I have a room there. I actually have 3 rooms that I participate in. There's one called Conscious Alkebulan, which is one I created myself. Conscious Alkebulan. I'll drop the links to you. There's another one called Awujomo Yoruba. There's another one called Think Yoruba First. And you can also find me on that same Clubhouse with the profile name Akinyemi. So I will drop everything to you so that you can place it on your screen for everybody to see. So I thank you so much. I really appreciate discussing with you. These are turbulent times and we really have to face it the way it is.
You're too much time. Now what would they bring you from like every week? So this will not be just the best the last interview with me and you go get. So thank you for your time. Make I allow you, make you go now. So next time we will talk more. So you too much.
No wahala.
So
wait till
be your last this way you like talk before you go. You get any word where you would like tell us or what you would like say before you go?
This is thank you. This is the only thing I would want to add to everything that I've said. I was not born like this. I was born under the influence of everything I said, just like me and you. So it's not like I woke up one day and I just decided that no, I don't like. In fact, I like to use the word I hate religion, but I didn't just hate it today. I have been a Christian. In fact, 5 years of my life at a particular time, I was the youth leader of my church and I preached on the streets. In fact, I did beat people say they don't like Jesus Christ. I beat people for that. So if I could change from that dogmatism to where I am today, is because I was deep into it and I saw the scam inside of it. I didn't just wake up because somebody gave me rumors. So like I said, ladies and gentlemen, what you need to do to free yourself, ask questions, study, research, and before you know it, you will appreciate who you are. And then we can start talking about building Africa, building your homeland the way it's meant to be. Because there's a lot that we can sell to the outside world. We don't need, in fact, Africa does not need anybody. They need us. But today, we are actually needing them because they have made us and they have created a false need for them. Our cable station, our clothing, everything will depend on them. When are you going to sell your Buba and Abeti Aja to them out there? So, my brother, all I can just say, and I beg everybody, be calm. There's this old saying, and this is where I'm going to end it up. To be wise, you have to be a fool. Thank you.
You too much. You too much. You too much. I know say this your talk then. A lot of people go down, take some kind thing from her. So thank you. Make I allow you go now before they'll come beat me. So my people. So my people, when I don't hear from the guy, because all of them thought say, Pararan will be this guy, we do this audio 1 year from he heard you first, they go first before you come outside where now go know a lot of things. So you want me voice first say, you understand? Or you market strategy. So now don't see. So people will get here, I know some of them on a stubborn pass also rock. So my people now here go to stop my name. Pararan one of Africa, my brother Adepitan.
Pararan one talk true too. Mock news one talk sense. Pararan one mad again. Hey, Pararan the talk bitter truth to pain about the people. Mock news tell the people